Lovely. So we're back now on Facebook, as they say, in Studio 2 with James, and we're going to pick up where we left off with a lot more questions coming in. So, James, we'll get cracking again. I'm on a lot of medication, opioids. I used to get Moviteg tablets to prevent constipation, but they're no longer available. Would you be able to recommend anything, or is there anything replacing the tablets I used to be on, says Sean and Tune?
That's a really interesting question from Sean in Tuam. So what happens here, Ger, is that the pain medication, the opioids, one of the side effects is constipation, and the Moventeg is a specific type of tablet that is actually used to treat this type of constipation.
Yes.
Yeah, now they're not available at the moment. But thinking about this, Ger, if the gentleman is listening in, I would suggest to take something called Benevit's Bowel Support, one sachet a day, and 2 teaspoons of Benevit's Multifiber Plus. Okay, and start on that every morning. Okay, and what that will do is, number one, it'll promote a good gut function, and it would help combat the constipation caused by the opioid.
Right.
So if we just do that again, Jar, so the Multifiber Plus, the Benevit's Bowel Support, one sachet of the Bowel Support, 2 teaspoons of the Multifiber Plus, and do that as long as you're on the opioids. Now, obviously, you're on this on a continuous basis, but see how that works. Like I could start recommending lactulose, and I can start recommending different things like Syn over the counter and whatever, but sometimes they lead to something called lazy gut,
Okay.
and the peristalsis is greatly decreased, where the other two that I previously mentioned, it will help gut function.
Thank you very
Okay.
much. Now, I'm not quite sure of the gist of the next one, James, but it looks like is E. coli infection caused as a result of bad weather? Does that make any
I,
sense?
I think what they're saying is the E. coli, does it cause bad water, Jar? Well, obviously E. coli is found in all
Oh,
our intestines, and any type of, sometimes, this is what the scientists or the environmental EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, will be checking is the E. coli count in water. So if it goes above a specific count, Jar, well, then there's an issue with water quality.
yeah.
So E. coli at a certain high
Level.
level will
Yes.
cause problems in the water.
I've lost my sense of taste and smell. I got a spray from my doctor, but it didn't do anything. Can the pharmacist recommend something, please? Many thanks.
Again, a very good question, Jar, and I've seen a lot of this post COVID. Um, I'm going to be very honest with you here. It's very hit and miss.
Right.
Now, I know I looked after a lovely lady from Cavan, and she had this particular issue, and we solved it. And I know I'm trying to help a local man at the moment in relation to something like this, and I'm struggling with it. So it's a bit of hit and miss. Now, what I'm going to do for that person is I'm going to check out what we did up for the lady from Cavan, and I'm going to come back to them.
All
Is
right.
that
That's
okay,
fair
Jar,
enough.
on
Yep.
that? Because I'm trying to think. I know I have it in my notes, but I'm just going to review them and just be 100% before I say anything, okay?
Another person, both of their feet are swollen. I'm on, is it Forxiga, James? Is that
Yes,
right?
that's okay, Jar.
And it's a 10 milligram dose. The swelling is worse on the instep. Is there anything that I can do to help it? I
Okay, well,
presume
look,
the drug is to reduce the swelling in the
well,
feet.
it's more to do with diabetes,
Oh,
type
okay.
2, Jar, and
Okay.
usually what it does is it moves sugar out of the system via the kidneys. But that shouldn't necessarily be causing it. Now, I stand to be corrected, because sometimes you can get what's called an atypical side effect, where the side effect could be unique to the patient. So it mightn't happen in anybody else, but they might get it because they're taking the medication. But obviously, what I'd say here is, if they can pop in and get something like, if they got something like dandelion, yeah,
Oh,
just take a little bit of dandelion, yeah, a couple of days, a couple of in the morning time, and what that will do is it'll promote a little diuresis and hopefully ease down that swelling that they're getting in the lower feet, or in their instep. I have to be careful here, Jared, because obviously it could be a swelling in particular in relation to the instep, because they could have done damage to that particular area. So we have to be careful here. So is it an inflammation, or is it water retention? Yeah. So we have to be careful in relation to what we're going to say here, because in lower leg swelling, where you have sometimes in heart failure, you can end up where you can get water retention in the lower feet area. And usually, what you could use a natural supplement or something like frusemide, which will get rid of that. Say, for example, with the dandelion.
yeah.
But if the person here, if it's on the lower instep and there's a bit of swelling, they may get benefits out of using ibuprofen or an anti-inflammatory.
But look at here now. Should that person show that foot then to a pharmacist?
Absolutely, Jar,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
Pop
To
in,
decipher
yeah,
whether, yeah.
chat to the pharmacist and see, because the pharmacist will be able to say straight away, well, that's a swelling or it's water retention, and they will then can refer straight directly to the GP.
Perfect. Any recommendation, James, for someone that has thinning hair?
Good multivitamin.
A good
And
multivitamin.
stay on it. Sometimes, I often give recommendations here, Jar, and I know some people say, James, I've been on this for 2 weeks and it's doing no good. You gotta stay a minimum 2 to 8 weeks at least. With hair, that's always because hair is the least supplied and the most poorly supplied a blood vessel promotion within the body. So from that perspective, you need to be on a good multivitamin for at least 6 months.
Okay.
So if you get a tonic, the multivitamin, the Benefits multivitamin plus or the Energy Plus capsule, one in the morning, and just take that for 6 to 8 months.
Two-pronged question now. Number one, the name of the product for bloating and gas. And number two, the name of the product for poor sleep. I'm in my late 60s and I do have an overactive thyroid.
Okay. Well, if they have an overactive thyroid, I'd love to know if they're on a product called carbimazole or prothiouracil. Now, both of those are used for overactive thyroid. In relation to bloating and gas, I definitely recommend the Benefits Bowel Support, 1 sachet a day or 1 sachet every second day. Sometimes when you take the Benefits Bowel Support, because it's helping the gut, it can get a little bit worse before it can get better. Yeah, so it's clearing out all the bad gases, the bad bacteria and whatever. So bear with it. Give it 2 to 3 weeks before everything settles down, because sometimes you have to, it's like clearing a field of weeds, Jerry. You have to clear them out, you have to plough it, reseed it before it gets better. So the bloating and gas, the Benefits Bowel Support.
Now, you also mentioned a product that you wondered what they on. You mentioned two
Yes,
drugs.
I did, Jared.
If they're on those drugs,
yes,
James,
they can
they
stay.
still do?
Yes,
Okay.
100%.
Right.
100%.
Okay, perfect. All right.
But what we always need, and this is important purely from a pharmacist's point of view, Jared, or even in a health food store point of view, coming in and asking for a product, we need to know what medication you're
Sure.
on.
Essential.
That's important. And for the poor sleep, definitely the sleep blend is very good. The Benefits Sleep Blend, it's safe, 1 to 2 tablets, capsules at night before you go to bed, an hour before you go to bed, and try and avoid caffeine after 4 o'clock.
Okay, all right. Now then, James, I'm a lady aged 72. I suffered very badly with leg ulcers last year, had 3 bad ones, and was on compression bandages for 16 months, and it was pure torture with pain and having to attend my nurse 3 times a week. Anyway, thank God they all healed up. But now this past month, I have a lot of tingling and pain in the area around the side of the ankle where I had the ulcers. It's a throbbing pain at times, so I'm petrified of ulcers breaking out now. I put aloe jelly on the area at night and I wear compression stockings during the day. Is there any cream or what would you advise, James? I'm on no medication at all and I'd appreciate your help, says Roseanne.
Well, Roseanne, you've done fantastically well, and I know it's been a journey over the last 16 months to get where you're at. But what we're going to suggest here to help with this particular issue and ease down that pain, that peripheral pain that you're experiencing, is maybe for about 8 weeks go on a particular product called Azuki Vitamin C, which is the lipospheric vitamin C, which is very, very effective in relation to promoting healing around that area. Now, I know you've said that they've healed up really well, but we're doing this, excuse me, in combination with a product called Newbit. So the combination of that, number one, will help the peripheral nerve pain, but it'll also help in the promotion of healing if there is any breakdown of the skin in that area. So using that, along with, even if you got a little bit of Silcox base, or what's that one? Now, I'll just write this down for you, Tim. I'm writing it down here so I don't forget myself. La Roche-Posay Lipicar M.
Wow.
La Roche-Posay Lipicar M. And get a little bit of that, Roseanne. Top of your finger, massage it. There is no steroids in it, so don't be worrying. A little bit of that and massage that into the affected area. And what that does is, if it's very, very good, especially at irritation or soreness around that area, and rub it around that particular area. And if you pop in, any pharmacy will have that La Roche-Posay. It's a really, really great product. And massage that into that area and use the Zuki Vitamin C and the Nubit for about 8 weeks. And I think we should have a good result in that. And I'd love her to come back to myself and yourself, Jar, and let me know how she's doing.
Well, fingers crossed on
Yes.
that one. I'm a lady in my late 50s, very bad sleeper and totally exhausted all of the time. Feel I'm pushing myself to the limit just to keep on top of work and home life. Could James suggest something to help with sleep and or give some energy? Any help appreciated.
Okay, I'm just curious. I'd love to know if that lady is she going through the menopause, Jar, or is she taking any HRT or anything like that. Either way, I would definitely suggest we'll go with something nice and simple. Again, I would stress, not for 2 weeks, go for a minimum of 2 months. We'll go with the Benefits Energy Plus capsules, one a day. Take it in the morning time, okay, with the breakfast, okay. And for the sleep, something simple. The combination that I suggested, the Benefits Sleep Blend, 1 to 2 capsules at night. Avoid taking huge amounts of food, chocolate or anything like that before you go to bed. And the same with caffeine. Try and cut that out before 4 o'clock. I know it's difficult, 6 o'clock, people like a cup of tea after the meal or whatever. But even for a period, like I know some of the tea company knows Barry's lines that have the non-caffeinated ones.
Teas, yeah.
Try those instead and just see how that'll go for that period of time.
I'm never sure of the pronunciation. I'm going to go psoriatic
Psoriatic
arthritis. I have it, says this caller. Can you recommend a natural remedy they could take?
Okay, that's a small question with a big answer, Jar. And I was just going to recommend, would it be possible? I'm just putting a little note around this, that if that person can just send me a little mail on that, or what I'll do is I'll do up a little couple of notes on that for next month. Would that be okay? Because there's a little bit about what we do beforehand, what we do during the psoriatic arthritis, and what we do afterwards. So there's about 3 stages to to help in that, and I would need to go through that in a little bit more detail.
Okay. Now then, a person recently had hip surgery. In fact, they had it in March, but they're looking for a cure for sore and stiff bones and joints.
Well, if it's sore and stiff bones, when did they have the hip surgery? March. Well, I would definitely recommend, number 1, to try and get out there and do a little bit of exercise, Jar. Okay. Number 2, glucosamine and chondroitin. Yeah. Start on that. Our old friends, very simple, very, very helpful. And then a little cream to massage into the affected area, even a small little bit of olive oil, wherever it's sore. Now, that doesn't mean to say you pour the whole bottle on the leg. Little bit, top of the fingers, massage into the affected areas. And that really, really helps. But it's about consistency of use. So rather than doing it 1 to 2 days and say, what's James talking about? Do it for 2 to 3 weeks. And then you should see the results.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, tingling sensation and numbness at night when the movement stops. I presume that's when they lie down in bed. Restless feet and also feeling cold.
Magnesium citrate, Jar. Now, it has to be the citrate and the strong vitamin B complex for a period of 2 months, taken around 7 o'clock in the evening.
And do that religiously.
Yes, magnesium citrate, strong vitamin B complex, and do that and use that around 7 o'clock in the evening.
And see what happens.
Yeah, I would definitely, and there, Jerry, especially if the feet are feeling cold, maybe a little bit of an Epsom salt warm bath before they go to bed. Not getting in the feet, for the feet, not the whole body.
Sure,
just getting into the
foot bath.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, James, please, what's for bowel support?
The Benefits Bowel Support.
To do the job there.
Do the job. Once actually, now again, what we said, Jar, when you're introducing something like that into the system, it's going to move a lot of stuff out of the system. So give it a bit of time. Give it the 2 weeks. Let everything settle down, and then you'll start to feel the real results.
Any advice for teenage acne?
It depends on how bad it is, Jar. There's some great creams out there now, and usually the GP would be able to recommend that. If not, I can't talk highly enough of dermatologists. They're very, very they're very
proactive in this
They're
area.
very proactive. The use of retin, the use of, and there's a number of medications as well that are extremely, extremely good. And once they're supervised by a GP or a consultant, they really do have a lot of benefit for teenage acne. So pursue that. If they're struggling to get a dermatologist, whatever, I can make a recommendation, but we can do that again.
Okay. Can James recommend anything for gout, please, other than the obvious recommendations, says Kate?
Well, I wonder what the obvious recommendations are
That
for
was a very
Kate.
painful condition.
Yeah, it really is, Ger. And like the importance here, what we'd recommend is number one, to look at the diet. Yeah, avoid the likes of red meat, pork, ham, all of that, red wine. So avoid that. Years ago, it was called the rich man's thing, and it can be really, really sore. So, and the other thing is to keep your diet as alkaline as possible, which is lots of greens in your diet. Lettuce, cabbages, all of that type of thing. Really safe, really, really effective. Hydration, very effective. And to use something called bromelain, really, really safe, really effective, really effective at easing down that low-lying inflammatory response, because what you're getting is the uric acid is coming out of the blood and just depositing as crystals in the affected area. So definitely, you know, the use of bromelain, the use of natural anti-inflammatories, and then again you can go to OTC anti-inflammatories.
Bromelain is an alternative.
Natural, absolutely.
Like a
Ger.
capsule.
But
Is it?
yeah,
One a
very-
day, is it, James?
Pop in, yeah, you can get one a day, very safe.
All right. Now, James, would you recommend marine collagen? And what strength for a 50-year-old female with shoulder pain? What's marine collagen? James?
Collagen, there's different types. There's bovine collagen, Ger, and there's marine collagen derived from fish. There's a lot of talk about collagen and its benefits. I would recommend a minimum for this lady of 5 grams a day. Yeah,
So you would recommend it?
definitely, Ger. It's natural. It's easy on the system. It's broken down right. There's studies going, people, but a lot of people were selling a lot of collagen because people are looking at it. They're doing their own reading up on it, and they are seeing benefits of it. So a minimum of 5 grams a day.
Thank you. Is CBD oil good for pain? Is this cannabis
Yes,
derivative?
yeah. So there's the CBD oil is basically the cannabis without the addictive parts, Ger. Some people have found it fantastic because it works on the endocannabinoid system within the body, and it promotes a pain-free system. Some people swear by it, others haven't found it to be successful. In relation to something like that, you get mostly in health food stores. I do know that some pharmacies carry it. It's worth trying.
It's worth trying.
You know, it's worth trying. It may get benefit, it may not.
Do you
get benefit.
ingest it or how do you?
You can take it. It comes in an oil jar. A couple of drops underneath the tongue.
Okay, thank you. Can you recommend anything for my husband who has bilateral gluteal tendinosis? What in the name?
You know, well, I was looking into that, Jar, and I think that we had a question like this recently, and it's basically effectively around the buttock area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And what I definitely recommend there is a natural anti-inflammatory, like we spoke about, Jar. Looking at, say, even taking an OTC anti-inflammatory that won't interact with any other medications they're on, and using, say, something like a strong anti-inflammatory cream. Now, the ones on prescription are probably better for this, and they would definitely be. There's one in particular with a red and blue box, and would you believe I can't think of it, Jar, but it'll come back to me. It'll come back to me. For that particular one, I'm just going to put a little sign, an asterisk on the side of that, and it'll jump into my mind in a few minutes, Jar.
Now, okay, James, partner was diagnosed with, I presume this is diverticulitis.
Yes.
Had scans of all types done and everything came back clear. All of the scans came back clear bar fatty liver. However, this person still has constant ongoing sharp pain in their right side. We have changed our diet, but only briefly. What else can we do?
Sometimes in situations like that, Jar, it's about using different products to see what we'll actually get for a bit of peace, or I get you pain free. So in something like that, Jar, what I'd be recommending is try the bowel support for a couple of weeks. Yeah, if that's not working, use something like the Multifiber Plus. So not to use them together, but to use them separately, one after the other, to see which one will give you a reduction. Because sometimes with diverticulitis or diverticulosis, you can get slight infection in the sacs that develop off the intestine.
Okay.
And sometimes it's about getting them cleared out and just calming them down. And even to use probiotics in that situation could be helpful.
Could help too.
So the combination of a probiotic and the bowel support, or the probiotic and Multifiber Plus, over a period of 2 to 4 weeks, could have a significant impact on that person.
I am taking Nexium for a few years. I went to a kinesiologist who told me I have low acid levels in my stomach. My understanding is that Nexium reduces acid. Any advice?
Correct. Well, the kinesiologist is right, because obviously the Nexium prevents acid production in the tummy, so that keeps the tummy from, if there is irritation in the stomach, Jar, it stops the acid from burning the stomach. So, you know, the reason they're taking Nexium is to give them low acid in the tummy. So my understanding is Nexium reduces acid. That's correct. And that's probably why they have low acid
It
now.
doesn't eliminate
It
acid
doesn't
for obvious
eliminate
reasons.
it, but
It reduces
it
the amount.
reduces
Yeah.
it. Now, they need certain amount of acid in the system, Ger, because the acid is there to reduce down and to break down protein of foods coming into the tummy. So they need a
vital-
certain amount. So it's
yeah.
very, very important. Hydrochloric acid, Ger,
Yeah,
very powerful.
absolute, very powerful. Good afternoon, James. I'm 70-year-old woman, chronic cough since I was a child, getting every test done, couldn't find anything. They said I must have asthma when I was young, using inhalers. No good. I'm at my wits' end from coughing at night. Does James have any suggestion? Says Kathleen.
Well, I'll tell you what, Kathleen, if you come into me, into Ballina, or from down that area, or send me your address or whatever, I'll send you out one of my own bottles. The old Propolis bottle.
The magic bottle.
The magic bottle. I ran out of it, believe it or not, Kathleen. I'm still trying to figure out how that happened, but we ran out of it. But it'll be back in stock, I believe, on Thursday or Friday. We're all excited. We're even getting a party together because our bottle is coming back. Our manufacturers have nearly got it ready. It'll be hopefully in there. And Kathleen, if she can come in at all, we'll get her a bottle and she can try it on the house. It'll be one in the house from me.
Oh, well, good enough. Now, more gout. I suffer from occasional gout. Is there anything I can take to avoid this? I'm taking blood pressure medication. My doctor is concerned about prescribing, I presume, gout-related medication because of this.
Yeah, and I think the person is very right. And if they look at their diet there, Jerry, and even takes a little bit of bromelain, you know, that can help significantly. There was a particular product I was very, very fond of called Alkazone. You could put a couple of drops into your bottle of water and make your blood go very alkaline. So when the blood is very alkaline, it could keep the uric acid within the bloodstream, so you wouldn't be getting those deposits. But I cannot find it at the moment. I think it was based in America, and we just cannot get it in anymore. But definitely, so the next best way is lots of hydration and lots of greens in your diet.
Good man. Now, James, what can you get, please, for a fungal toenail? That's an infection, isn't it?
It's an infection in the toenail. If you pop into your pharmacist, there's little things you can get that you can rub on, antifungal, and they're on prescription as well. Trossel is one of them, Ger. And what you do is, but the key in fungal toenails is consistency of use. If you go in there and think that you're going to get rid of it in 2 weeks, it ain't going to happen. There is a particular medication as well called Lamisil, but that needs a GP prescription, and it also needs to be monitored as well for liver dysfunction after a period of 6 weeks. Don't panic if it's a liver dysfunction. It's just one of those things that doctors have to do if you're on Lamisil. But for fungal toenail infection, and if it's in between the toes, there's very good creams and creams out there that you can use with powders. Dactarin, very good, very effective.
Would James recommend, please, or what could he recommend about my stomach? I have diarrhea for the past 2 months. I eat well, plenty of fruit and veg. I also get bloated. I have been on the Benefit Bowel Support for the last 3 weeks. I don't feel it's effective yet. I'd be grateful if you could help.
Well, I think the fact that they're on the Benefits Bowel Support is excellent. I think 3 weeks.
Not
the
long
fact
enough.
that it's not long enough. Like they've had the diarrhea for 2 months. I would say to stay on it for another 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah. And even if they put in, I don't want to put too much fibre into the diet because that might create a little bit, but probably have a viral infection there or something, Jar. So if we can recommend an extra bit of probiotic into the system, Alpharex or one of those, or the Udo's Choice Super 8s, and get them into their system over the next 3 to 4 weeks, along with the bowel support, I think we could have a positive outcome there.
Could I also ask, because of the fact that it's been diarrhea for the last 2 months,
Yes.
if in the next period of time it doesn't heal up?
GP. Absolutely, Jar. Absolutely.
Okay. Now, I suffer with hay fever and find hay fever tablets and nozzle sprays help a little, but don't fully do the trick. Is there anything else I can use as Ken?
Well, if the tablets and nozzle sprays aren't working, Jar, what I'd recommend, and I know we do them ourselves, is the Air Pure system. Remember we had the little machine
you brought
in here?
it in, yes.
Pop it into the side of the room. It's fantastic. You feel, oh my God, oh, why am I having this machine in the room? But I have found, just using the Air Pure machine, that like I would suffer myself because I do a bit of swimming. The chlorine sometimes triggers all these allergies and stuff like that, and with the high pollen count and stuff like that. But the Air Pure there at night time or whatever, it's on its own, it's tipping away, and my susceptibility to allergies has decreased significantly.
I'm having
Pure.
I'm having trouble sleeping, and I have pressure on my eyes and in my head and tingling in both my ears. Is there anything I can do for this? And my memory seems to be also gone weak lately.
I am thinking my gut there straight away, Jar, is to have a chat with the GP.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm not the pressure on your eyes. It could be a tension headache. and they're having trouble sleeping,
Tingling
memories
in
getting
both
in the
ears.
thing. I think GP there. I mean, they could use something like Sudafed Plus or something like that. That's quite effective in relation to tension headaches, but I'm not happy about it. I think that have to
GP.
have a chat with the GP. Don't get panicked. Just go and mention those symptoms to them.
Finally, before I let you go, I'm going to test out your geography today because callers wants to know where exactly are your chemists.
Well, we're based in the wonderful Mayo. We're based in Galway, and we're based in Roscommon.
Very good.
So if
Roscommon
you
town,
malloyspharmacy.com.
Galway to city, and we know that they're in Crossmolina,
Achill, Crossmolina,
and
Ballahadreen,
Ballahadreen, etc.
Yeah.
All right, James, that's where we have to leave
Wonderful.
it today. Thank you very much indeed. You're back again next Monday with God's help, and next month, should I say, the 1st of August, 096 60072 as well. Thank you and take care.
Thanks, Ger.